Having navigated the treacherous waters of piety and courtship, you now turn your attention to your wardrobe. You pull out a simple wool tunic and breeches, feeling that something is missing. In your time, you might have added a bit of flair, a colorful scarf, perhaps a piece of interesting jewelry. Here, however, what you wear is not a matter of personal taste. It's a matter of law. You've just stumbled into the world of sumptuary laws, a set of regulations designed to police fashion and reinforce the rigid social hierarchy. You look down at your plain, functional clothing and realize it's not just a choice. It's a requirement for someone of your presumed station. In colonies like Massachusetts and Connecticut, the ruling elite were deeply concerned about the pride and excess they saw creeping into society. They believed that a well-ordered community required a clear, visual distinction between the classes. If a common farmer started dressing like a wealthy merchant, or a merchant's wife adorned herself like the governor's lady, the very fabric of society could unravel. It was social confusion, and it had to be stamped out by law. So, you learn the rules. Gold or silver buttons, forbidden, unless you can prove you have a personal fortune of over £200, a significant sum. Silk hoods or scarves, absolutely not. Lace, the delicate, expensive import from Europe. Only the wealthiest, most prominent families could legally display it on their collars and cuffs. A law passed in Massachusetts in 1651 explicitly targeted the great excess and bravery of apparel and listed forbidden items. Gold or silver lace, or gold and silver buttons, or any bone lace above 2 shillings per yard, or silk hoods, or scarves. It was a meticulously detailed list of sartorial sins. Imagine being a young woman who has spent months painstakingly creating a beautiful piece of embroidery to adorn her dress, only to be told by a magistrate that the thread she used is too shiny and implies a social standing she does not possess. It's not just a fashion faux pas, it's a criminal offense. The penalties could range from a simple fine to the public forfeiture of the offending garment. You can almost picture the scene, a stern-faced official with a pair of shears, solemnly snipping the forbidden silver buckles of a young man's shoes in the middle of the town square. It's the ultimate public shaming, a declaration that you tried to rise above your station. Historians still argue about the true motivation behind these laws. Was it genuinely about maintaining a godly, humble society free from the sins of vanity and envy? Or was it a less noble, more pragmatic attempt by the established elite to cement their own power? By making wealth and status visually explicit, they made their authority undeniable. When you see a man in a beaver hat with a silver-banded coat, you know immediately he is a man of substance and influence. When you see another in simple, undyed homespun, you know his place is to defer. Clothing becomes a uniform of class. One of the quirkiest aspects of this fashion policing was its application to gender. The laws were often more specific and restrictive for women, whose modesty was seen as a cornerstone of public morality. But men were not exempt. A man who wore his hair too long, in a style deemed ruffian-like, could face censure from the church elders. This was seen as imitating the decadent, long-haired cavaliers of England, the political and religious enemies of the Puritans. The ideal was the Roundhead, a simple, severe haircut that signaled piety and sobriety. It's a comical thought, a society where you could get into more trouble for your hairstyle than for, say, polluting a stream. You find yourself becoming hyper-aware of your appearance. That small, polished stone you picked up on the beach, could it be mistaken for a gaudy gem? The way you tie your leather belt, is the knot too elaborate? You start to understand how this constant scrutiny creates a culture of conformity. It's safer to be plain. It's wiser to be unremarkable. The goal is to blend in, to become another thread in the drab, sturdy fabric of the community, not a bright, showy one that might be plucked out for being too bold. And as you walk through the town, you see the sumptuary laws at work. The governor's wife glides by, a whisper of illicit silk rustling beneath her heavy wool cloak, while the blacksmith's daughter eyes her with a mixture of awe, and, perhaps, a touch of legally mandated resentment. The social order is visible on everyone's sleeves, quite literally.